It's time for another reel review. This time we're going to do the Penn Pursuit IV. What an awesome little saltwater spinning reel. It's great if you're saltwater fishing on a budget. Let's get into it. Hey guys, I'm Kevin with Kemp Outside, your inside source for all things outside. We have been doing a bunch of fishing reel reviews here on Kemp Outside. I love fishing reels. I can't get enough fishing reels, guys. And I have another one today that I want to show you. I really like this reel, especially if you're a saltwater angler on a budget. And that is the Penn Pursuit IV. Now this one is part of a combo I got, so it has some blue accents. If you buy it just from Penn as the reel, it's going to come in black and gray instead of blue. But this is just cosmetic, so ignore the blue if you're looking for just the reel itself. It'll be gray. But as I said, I did get this as part of the combo, and I'm going to do a video on the combo itself separately, because I know some of you guys just want to buy the reels. You don't want to buy the combos. So we're going to do different videos for the reels versus the combos. This one is their 2500 model, and it comes in a variety of sizes from 2500 to 3000, 4000, 5000, 6000, and 8000 sizes. So it is not as much of a range as some of the other reels that you see, like the Spin Fisher or the Battle, but there are plenty of size options for the Pursuit 4 for pretty much whatever you are going after. This reel is a departure from the other Penn reels that we've looked at so far, like the Fierce, the Spin Fisher 7, and the Battle 4, in that this reel is not all metal construction. So it is a much lighter reel than, say, the Battle that I have, right next to me, or the Fierce that I've reviewed, or the Spin Fisher 7. This reel is definitely lighter. It's not the lightest reel out there on the market for sure, but it is lighter, which definitely will come in handy if you're casting artificials a lot when you're on the water, because ounces matter. When you've made 500 casts in a day, your arm is going to get tired. So weight definitely matters. So if you're looking for a lighter weight option, the Pursuit 4 might be what you're looking for. So in the 2500, right, the drag capacity is 10 pounds, and it does have the HT100 drag system, that carbon fiber drag system that is well known on Penn models, super smooth. Really, really like it. If you go to the 3000 size, I think that ups your drag capacity to 12, which it does. And then on the 4000, it's up to 15. So if you want a smaller reel, which I did in this case, because I'm going to be using this reel kind of on the flats, maybe for, some larger flats fish, but definitely even if I'm just reeling in slot size, sea trout all day, I definitely want, something that's lightweight. So I went with a 2500 size, and 10-pound drag for a 2500 size reel is just fine. Let's talk about some braid capacity. And as you guys will notice, this is a braid ready spool, which means you can tie braid directly to the spool itself. You don't have to put monofilament backer. Even though you don't have to, I always put monofilament backer because braid is expensive and it doesn't really make sense to just load up a spool with braid unless you're going with heavy braid for the size spool. So in this case, it'll hold 240 yards of 10-pound braid. It'll hold 220 yards of 15-pound braid and 160 yards of 20-pound braid. Since I'm going to load this spool up with 10-pound braid, I don't need 240 yards, so I'm going to put monofilament on and then load it up with about 150 yards of braid. Like the other Penn reels I have reviewed, this reel has the line markings inside the reel so that you can kind of see where you're at in terms of filling up the spool. So a lot of times I'll fill with monofilament until I get to that line and then braid on top of that. So I really like that. It's a nice feature that Penn has. Let's talk about a few more of the specs. So I already mentioned the HT100 drag system. Penn says that this reel features an ultra lightweight, corrosion resistant graphite body, right? So it's a graphite body. It's not all metal. It definitely does feel lighter. I would disagree with Penn. I wouldn't call this ultra lightweight, especially when I have a 3000 size Pflueger Supreme right here This reel is definitely lighter than this reel. But if you look at this reel, right, and I've showed this on a number of other videos, is you can see how skeletonized this has come to reduce weight, right? And I think this is a magnesium frame reel, but all of that skeletonization you see right down here and on the spool allows saltwater intrusion, right? So this would not be my first choice for saltwater fishing. You can fish it in saltwater, but I don't recommend it because of all the saltwater intrusion. On the Penn reels, when you see the Penn reels, you can tell that they're designed for saltwater because there's nothing on the rotor, right, that has cutouts. And then on this spool, they do have some cutouts, right, but not many. Obviously, like if you look at the Battle, right, there's no cutouts on the Battle. So there are a few, and I'm guessing that is just for a little bit of weight savings, but you're not going to get nearly the water intrusion on this reel as you would with a reel that is designed for fresh water. So just something to consider. This reel has a 4+1 bearing system, so 4 stainless steel sealed bearings and then an instant anti-reverse bearing. So that keeps the reel from going backwards at any point in time, which is standard on most reels these days. I still fish a couple of really old Shimano reels that don't have instant anti-reverse, and it freaks me out every time I try to use them because I think they've broken until the anti-reverse kicks in. But most reels these days have instant anti-reverse, so it's not really something to focus on. It does have a machined and anodized aluminum spool, as I mentioned before, that's braid ready. It's nice to be aluminum. And guys, this has a nice big rubberized handle, so you can definitely get it. On some of the other 2500 size reels or smaller reels, the handle is really small. And I've noticed that especially on some of the, like again, the Fluger, right? That's a really small handle compared to that. And so, you know, when you're fishing, especially if it's hot and your hands are sweaty or your hands are wet because you just handled a fish or something like that, having a good handle that you can just grab and that you know where you're at right away, I really like that. Guys, this reel is super smooth and it runs really, really well. I'm really, really impressed with how smooth Penn reels have gotten because, you know, if you fished Penn reels a couple of years ago, you know, that's like, I say a couple of years ago, I'm getting old. So like 10 years ago, 20 years ago, you know, I always used to say, if you want smooth, fish Shimano. If you want power, fish Penn, right? But Penn, I think, has really upped their game in terms of how smooth the reels are. And of course, there's definitely plenty of power. Let's look at a few other specs on the 2500. This has a gear ratio of 6.2 to 1, which if you've watched my videos, you know I love that gear ratio for working artificial baits. I just think it's the right speed retrieve. The handle is right-left swappable like all the reels that I'm reviewing. This reel has a weight of 9.8 ounces. So again, much, much lighter. I think I reviewed, I mean, granted this is a bigger reel at the 3500, but I think this is 12.8 ounces, the Spinfisher 7. The Penn Battle 4 did not give a weight, and this is a 3000 versus 2500, but this is a significantly heavier reel. This is probably in the, I'm going to guess the 11 ounce range, but that's just a guess. I don't have a scale, so I can't weigh it. But I'm guessing this is 11 and a half ounces. You know, it could be 12 even. But for this to be 9.8, you know, definitely lighter. And as I said in the beginning of this video, you can either buy the reel separate or you can get it as part of a combo, which is what I did. So I have the Pursuit IV LE rod. This is a medium light rod that we're going to pair this up with. We're going to load it up with some 10-pound Berkley X9 braided line and get it out and go fishing, because really what matters is not how it looks, but how it fishes. So let's get out there and go check it out. Well guys, there you have it, the Penn Pursuit IV. What an awesome reel, guys. I love this thing at the price point, right? $59.99 for the 2500. Guys, I could have more of these. I definitely could. I really, really like this reel. Super impressed with it. Super impressed with the combo. And guys, I'm going to do a review of the combo here soon. That's why this one is not the silver, it's the blue in colors, because I bought it as part of this Penn Pursuit IV LE combo. So I'm going to do a review on the full combo, so be sure to stay tuned to check that out. But guys, what an awesome reel. You know, for not being all metal like the other Penn reels that I've been testing, I love that it's lightweight. This thing tore up the sea trout. So in this video right here, I was doing some flats fishing with my friends for my friend's birthday. And I tested 6 rods. I fished with 6 rods that day. I kept going back to this one because it just was lightweight, comfortable, fun to fish with. It had the right bait on it. To be honest, it was rigged with something I really wanted to fish with, and I didn't want to switch on other rods and reel combos, but I kept coming back to it because it just felt really, really comfortable. Really smooth reel. I think that for $60, you can't go wrong. If you're looking for a budget saltwater reel, right, that you know is going to perform well in saltwater, it's going to last, that's going to do a good job if you maintain it, right? Like, just, you'll hear me preach in every fishing video I do. If you're going to fish it in saltwater, you have to maintain it. You have to rinse it. You have to make sure that it's oil and grease, all that stuff. Make sure that your reels are taken care of. But if you're looking for a budget reel and you want a saltwater reel from Penn, man, this Pursuit IV is pretty awesome. Now, if you're going for big fish, over slot fish, you know, you're really going after the bigger fish. I mean, yeah, they have a 6,000 and 8,000, and I'm sure it's a pretty good reel. But you might want to consider an all metal. You might want to consider going up to the Fierce or the Battle or the Spin Fisher in that case. But guys, love it, love it, love it. So I'm going to put an affiliate link below to where you can pick up one of these. I'm also going to put an affiliate link to the combo in case you want the combo instead. They are affiliate links, which means if you use my link to purchase, it doesn't cost you anything extra, but it's a great way to support my channel. I get a little commission on the sale. That's greatly appreciated when you use my links. Guys, I don't think you can go wrong with this reel, but let me know what you think. If you fish the Penn Pursuit IV, drop some in the comments below, or if you have questions about it, I'd love to hear from you. Or you can connect with me on my other social media. I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and X, or my website at kempoutside.com. One of the reasons why we're doing gear reviews and all these different price points, guys, is to help you make decisions on what gear is right for you and your family. See, we exist to help moms and dads take their kids camping, hiking, fishing, learn about nature, and develop a conservation ethic. We want to help you get you and your kids outside. Some of you might be able to afford high dollar combos for everybody. Some of you might be pushing it to buy $60 reels, you know, more than one. I get it. You know, sometimes I have more money to spend on my outdoor pursuits, and sometimes I don't have much of a budget at all. It's just kind of the way it works when you have a family. If you're on a budget, right, and you really want to do some saltwater fishing, you want to do some flats fishing, you want to get out there, but you can't buy gear that breaks the bank, this Pursuit IV is pretty good at $60. I also really like the combo, guys, so stay tuned for that. If you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that little bell icon that notifies you when we release new videos. We got a lot more coming on fishing content, as well as our camping and hiking videos, gear reviews, tips and tricks, all kinds of stuff. So stay tuned right here to Kemp Outside. Guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.